As the 20th century arrives, a rumble of change is felt across the country. In New York, a new era roars to life. From 1900 to 1920, over 15 million immigrants arrive from Europe, while countless others migrate to the city from farms and small towns across the country. New York is now the second largest city in the world. Its starkly different neighborhoods connected by the expanding new subway system. Business tycoons and robber barons across the country consolidate new industries into powerful corporations, many now based in New York. On a smaller scale, recent immigrants seeking their own opportunities start up hundreds of new businesses. The city is electrified and electrifying. There's an explosion of nightlife, entertainment, and creative expression. It is the stunning emergence of modern times, modern cities, and New York as the magnetic center of new ways of thinking, working, and living, especially for women. In this new age, more women are graduating from college and professional schools, many inspired to use their knowledge in ways that uphold and improve human dignity. New York is the most densely populated city in the world, and 2 out of 3 New Yorkers live in tenements. Many buildings are dark, overcrowded, and disease-infested.
Over broken asphalt, over dirty mattresses and heaps of refuse we went. There were 2 rooms, and a family of 7 not only lived there, but shared their quarters with boarders. I felt ashamed of being part of a society that permitted such conditions to exist. What I had seen showed me where my path lay.
Stunned by how many infants are dying and how many families are racked by disease, a young nurse named Lillian Wald moves to the Lower East Side. She sees that the rapid spread of disease is linked to living conditions and creates an organization of community-based nurses who visit thousands of families a year. Supported by philanthropist Jacob Schiff, she opens the Henry Street Settlement, which provides services and programs to the neighborhood's immigrant poor in unprecedented ways. Lillian Wald originates a citywide public school nurse program, the first in the world, and pioneers the field of public health, setting national standards that continue today. Meanwhile, a steady stream of Manhattan's African Americans has begun to move uptown, drawn by available housing and in reaction to prejudice in other parts of the city. Few jobs are open to African American men, and most of the new office and retail jobs are closed to African American women. Some have to leave their own homes and children to live with white families as domestic help. Drawing support from within the community has deep roots in African American life. Women band together through churches and other social groups to provide critical services denied to Black neighborhoods.
The colored woman, in common with thousands of her sisters, gives her energy largely to the development of the highest qualities of mind and soul, for these alone can give to the nation the best there is in citizenship.
Addie Hunton and others in cities across the country had been part of a movement giving rise to such groundbreaking organizations as the National Association of Colored Women. Now, Black and white, men and women in New York help launch the NAACP and the National Urban League. In this environment, a gathering place in uptown Manhattan, will grow into a mecca of Black culture and American intellectual and artistic expression. Immigrant women, teenagers really, are at the heart of the city's booming garment industry, in spite of brutal, even dangerous conditions and meager pay. These women are also tasting independence and forging deep bonds of friendship. They push to be included in the industry's struggling labor movement and pay a heavy price. When Clara Lemlich organizes picket lines, she is beaten by thugs hired by the employers. They break 6 of her ribs. Weeks later, impatient when veteran labor leaders seem too cautious, Lemlich speaks out at a mass meeting.
I have listened to all the speakers, and I have no further patience for talk. I am a working girl, one of those striking against intolerable conditions. I make a motion that we go out in a general strike, now!
The next morning, thousands of women garment workers go on strike. In bitter cold, these women persevere deep into the New York winter. Within months, women garment workers in Philadelphia, then Chicago, mount massive strikes. The women in New York achieve many gains, but there is no resolution to lingering issues of workplace safety conditions. At the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory on an early spring afternoon in 1911, piles of rags catch fire. There is no alarm system. Flames roar up one stairway. The door to the other is locked. When terrified workers scramble onto the only fire escape, the flimsy, poorly anchored structure collapses. Others fall or jump from the burning building to their deaths. The city mourns the loss of these daughters, sisters, fiancés, beloved friends. Frances Perkins, who had watched the horrifying scene from below, works with other reformers and New York politician Al Smith to convince a reluctant legislature to establish regulations that are, to this day, the foundation of workplace and building safety standards across the nation. This is democracy in action. Yet none of these women can vote.